Hey, welcome into the GASOCAST. I'm your host, Ryan Massett. I'm joined by Michael Timmins and Blueser Tucci. Stop what you're doing right now. Make sure you're following us on social media at Texas Hoops GASO, at Texas Hoops TV for Twitter and Instagram and TikTok, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And before we jump into the player rankings and the team rankings, I want to talk to you about our new app, the GASO High School Texas Scoreboard app. And what we're going to be doing is we have compiled all the 5A and 6A district schedules. So we have locations, times, you can get team notifications, up-to-date district standings, and much, much more. So go download that as soon as you can.
And real quick, when you say up-to-date, what can they kind of expect as far as if I play on a Friday night, when can they expect kind of these scores to kind of go in?
Those scores should be in. If your team's updating on Twitter, we're putting that in like instantly right when we get home from going to scout a game. So
should they tag anything specific?
Just tag at Texas Hoops GASO in the score, and it will be in there. And then hopefully your district rivals do the same. So
let's do it.
Let's do it. Blue, let's pass it to you. We got we had signing day yesterday, and then we had a ton of commitments. So I'm just going to let you go.
News and notes right here. We got Cason Wallace to Kentucky. That was the biggest one I think that we all were waiting for. Jaleen Goodman, Victoria. He signed at Victoria College. Autavious Hobbs is going to Panola Junior College. Trevor Frank is going to Dallas Baptist. Cameron Crockett is headed to Mount St. Mary's. Avery Jackson, Oklahoma City. Austin Benigni.
I got you.
Is going to Navy. Thank you. Kendall Dow, Lubbock Christian. Isaiah Barjanet, UT Rio Grande Valley. Kelvin, Tama-Chloe, Blinn Junior College. Anariss Brandon, Texas A&M Commerce.
Thanks, Blue. We're going to move into the top teams. We dropped that yesterday, and we did a top 25 for every classification in the state of Texas. Actually, we did a top 10 for 4A and below, and those got great just tons of retweets and likes, and we're going to be trying to update those rankings
throughout the season.
Throughout the season, and,
right.
and we're going to consistently do that. So we're going to talk about some teams, not necessarily who we think is going to win or anything like that. Just talk about teams that you liked that were on those rankings that stand out to you. So, Blue, I'm going to kick it to you. San Antonio Wagner, go.
Yep, number 19 is what we have him in the state in the 6A. You got to really look at this as the Austin Nunez his final year. What is he going to do? How is he going to lead this team? I think they're under the radar. You can probably talk to their head coach, Rodney Clark, and he doesn't want the attention. But I think they're really good because they have great guard play with Kevin Garcia, Eddie Fernandez. They're going to get some production out of sophomore Manny Robinson, and then Manny's only a sophomore. And then you look at their junior point guard in Dylan Gonzalez. There's a lot of guys out there that can score the basketball, and I look at for them just to kind of set the bar as they are traveling all over the state to play very high competition early. I really look for them down the stretch.
Yeah, and they'll start off playing McKinney, which is a team that we're very impressed in.
Throw in the fire.
Rankings.
Let's
so,
go.
hey, but that's always what Coach Clark has done there at Wagner. Just throwing them into the gauntlet, try to figure out really who they have. I'm going to go ahead and move on to a team in the Denton area, Denton Geyer. First thing that pops out about them is Kyron Lindsey, 6'8", just might be one of the most productive kids in the state of Texas, if not the country. I've mentioned it before.
Double machine.
Double machine, a hell of a EYBL summer campaign. But when you look at the way this roster is made up, he's going to have some help really quick in his backcourt with two freshman guards that played on a really high level this summer with Jeremiah Green and Jordan Lowry. Both of them played on the EYBL circuit, and I think both of them are ready to step into this. They're not going to be scared of the moment or scared of the atmosphere, and they're going to really help to produce. And all Kyron's really looking for is if y'all can just give me a little bit of space and make the defense honest, he's going to be able to go to work in there. And with a shooter like Connor Newton, that really spaces the floor. So this is a very intriguing team. If they can really mesh, Kyron Lindsey can go out there and just destroy a game plan of an opposing coach.
Yeah, and if I can add this, there will not be any 40-point losses this year for Denton Geyer. They have guard experience, which they lacked last year. Kyron Lindsey, like you said, is a different player with confidence, and with his confidence is going to come wins. I really look for Geyer just to be out there winning some ball games this year.
Yeah, we saw them at TABC. Jeremiah Green, mature game, very young, very, very, very good. I'm going to talk about Clearbrook. We saw them at our Houston GASO Fall Classic, and they're coming in at number 4 right now. They're just going to be a tough out. They're going to win a lot of games. They have two excellent guards in the Millender brothers. And then Tosh Lyons really impressed me and stood out. on the back end, just a bouncy, athletic. They're so multiple in how they can defend because they can just get after you. They can switch. They can do a lot of things. They can press you. And I just think that's a recipe for a lot of wins. And we're going to see Clearbrook and their consistency all over the place this year. So I'm really looking forward to seeing them. Let's hop into 5A. Blue, Goose Creek Memorial.
Number 13 in the state in our GASO rankings. Very intriguing team. They went deep last year into the playoffs, and now this year, you get the return of Sam Bradford and Darius Woodson along with Avant Coleman. They're a very dangerous team because they're athletic. They get up and down the court very quickly, and I can hit again on that experience of how deep that they went last year. You just really going to look at them to see how far that they're going to push all those teams in Houston.
For me, I'm going to look at Bernie Champion, a team. When you just look at their roster based on all the GASO events we have, there's a lot to like. A lot of their players really stood out at our GASOs. And if you're looking at what they did last year, they had a very impressive record. Maybe their playoff run kind of got stopped short. But when you're just looking down this roster, Jesse Pert, Dakari Hodge, Braden Baum, Braxton Burdick, Charlie
Georgelos, I think.
Yeah, we talked about Charlie.
We're trying.
About your name off camera, so we tried that. But yeah, just their culture and what they are. I think they're going to be really hungry, and in that region, I think they're going to be one of the favorites to try to come out of there.
Yeah, moving in. I'll talk about Mansfield TImberview. I've talked about them a bunch, but I'm so intrigued. Good coaching and good guard play can get you a long way. And while I don't think TImberview is the favorite right now, I think that has to go to Beaumont United and then Kimball, rightfully so, returning as many guys as both those teams did. But I think this TImberview team is nipping at their heels, and it wouldn't surprise me at all, just with their guard play of them making a huge run. Braylon Crosby, Daniel Vieira, Kendall Weaver, Jared Washington, just special group of players and special coaching. And I think that's, like I said, a recipe for a lot of good things to happen.
Yeah, and Dwayne Gregory loves the underdog role. He doesn't want people talking about them too much because he wants to just do what he does best, go out there and coach that team up and get those W's week after week.
So, let's move into a new segment. We just released more rankings recently. As of now, as we speak on this podcast, they're going to be live.
Yep.
So we did release one a few weeks ago, or how long was it?
6 weeks ago?
6 weeks ago. So not a lot of time, but we did have a lot to digest and look at some things. We traveled across the state for our GASO Fall Classics. So now we got to see a sample size of some of these kids playing with their high school teams. So what we're going to do now is we're going to just pick a couple kids within our top 25, our top 100, and our top 250 from the 2022 class and the 2023, and just give some thoughts on why we're intrigued with this prospect and where we have him in their rankings.
I'll kick it off. I want to talk about Brandon Walker. He's coming in as a top 20 player in the 2022 class. He's sitting at number 19 for Dallas Faith Family. This guy is just gets the job done. And I think it's unfair that he's playing in 4A. He is ridiculous, man. He can shoot the three. He's physical inside. He has some athleticism that you might not expect. He can get up and go punish him. And then now he's being a leader. And there's a lot of other pieces on that team which gets Brandon in really good situations, and he makes the defense pay constantly. So, Brandon Walker, good on you, man. You have turned some heads.
Yeah, he was my Mansfield GASO Fall MVP, by the way. So,
and just a quick side note, their Dallas Faith Family is our number 1 4A team. They're going to be battle tested. They're going to go out there and play the best competition from wherever. They don't care, and so that's just going to elevate Brandon Walker's game. I'm going to jump in here and talk about number 25 ranked from Converse Judson, Anariss Brandon. I think that when you look at his commitment to, especially to Texas A&M Commerce, you're talking about a guy that averaged over 20 points in his district last year, was one of the best players coming out of San Antonio, and he lands at the freshly named Texas A&M Commerce team that's going to Division I. I look for a lot of great things. Now he can relax and just go play basketball, not worry about recruitment. He's going to be in a tough district that he's going to have to battle Wagner that we just talked about. And so I look for him to really step his game up and just be a more relaxed player.
Absolutely. I improved jump shot too. That can't be overstated because with a guy with that size, speed, frame, everything that he can do, his handle, now he can pull up and bury shots over you consistently. That's a scary combination.
That's a steal for Commerce.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
For me, I'm going to go to number 19, Cameron Ambry of Shadow Creek.
I actually think we have him 21. My fault.
Oh, Brandon Walker's 19. Cameron Ambry's 21. Cameron, maybe I think you deserve to be higher. Maybe that's why I said that. But another guy, you know, lead guard, and guards win. Guards win games, and he's just explosive with the ball in his hands, can attack from half court, full court, hits the three from the logo. So if your court has logos out there, you know, in the NBA, everybody's shooting from these logos now. Cameron Ambry can shoot from there. His heart and his energy, he's going to pick you up 94 feet, and he's just a gamer. You know, just he can dictate the game. He can play fast. He's starting to add the pick and roll. Oral Roberts got a really good one, and I think that his progression as a ball player, one, he got taller and longer as the years went on, but just he's added so much to his game and the consistency. We saw him with 3D Empire shooting big threes, hitting shots in big games for them, but it's just turned into it's consistent at this point.
Yeah.
And consistent players play in consistent programs, and he has a little bit of max ace-miss in his game.
Yeah.
So going to Oral Roberts, so it'll be a great fit for him, and I'm excited to see him for his senior year.
It really felt like a match made in heaven, him with 3D. He kind of like all the things that he said, all the things that you just said, he added to his game, and then he got to flourish within a very, you know, a coach who lets it fly, man. And so Cameron got to just play in that type of style, so I think it really benefited him. I am going to talk about Micah Clark. I've mentioned him before as the prototypical Lancaster guy, and I think he fits that bill. Him and Dorian Goodman going to lead that team, and he is starting to refine his game in all different types of ways. He's shooting the three really well. He's getting to the rim very well. He's handling the ball a little bit too. I mean, he really nice fit, really, really good player. I'm excited to see, you know, the new look Lancaster Tigers and see how he fits in.
No, definitely. Yeah. I just, you know, another guy that brings so much energy when Lancaster doesn't really need more energy, but like when a big man like that is able to cause havoc, I mean, it's going to be a really good fit. I'm going to move into Nazir Brown. Naz, you know, we talked a couple days ago. We're so excited to see that you're healthy, and it's going to be a little new look Coppell team with Anthony Black moving on, but that just means there's more opportunities for kids like him and Ryan Agarwal to really like show us what they got. And while we don't have Coppell ranked in our top 25,
we had him an honorable mention.
Yeah. But we are waiting to see what Naz brings. We know he's a dog. We know from that lead guard, the tenacity. Coppell's not going to get punked while he's on the court. So with him, we're going to do rankings here again pretty soon after the tournament season. But he has a really great opportunity right now to have the ball in his hands a lot more and really show that he can lead this Coppell team further in a further playoff run than they were last year.
Yeah, and then I'm going to jump into Tyree Davis, ranked number 64 for Pearland Dawson. You talk about an all-around guard. He can play any guard spot. He can play down on the forward position. He's going to rebound. He's going to be the ball handler, be a passer. Does a lot of just of the little things. We have Pearland Dawson in our top 20. Actually, yeah, they're number 20 in 6A. And so he's going to be relied a lot to do just a little bit of everything because that team is really good. And I like Tyree Davis right here at 64, that he's going to be a very recruitable player as we go along the season.
Okay. Let me throw out a guy, an Aledo native, Daniel Son. I saw him play a bunch this summer, and he just got stuff done. I can remember specifically when you and I were in College Station watching him, and he just gets stuff done. He's really athletic. He can knock down a shot, and he's relentless. He gets every rebound, and he's really going to shine as Aledo's main guy. And just a name that people aren't super familiar with, but get familiar. Make a trip out. Go see Aledo, and this kid he's worth the price of admission. He plays hard. He does all the right things, and then he's got some real skill. So look for him to kind of make a little move here. Daniel Son, Aledo.
I'm going to actually talk about two, whether that's cheating or not, but they're both teammates, ranked very close to each other. That's Connor McManus and Preston Clark of Austin Westlake. You know, we've seen them on the biggest stage making a run to the state championship game. They just are the glue pieces for that Austin Westlake team. They're edgy. They're consistent, and what I like about it this year, with a new look, with KJ Adams moving on to Kansas, they're going to have opportunities to be more of a playmaker for this offense, along with Donovan Santoro. They catch and shoot wide open shots. They're just really no nonsense. If there's a ball on a loose ball, they're going to go get it. They're going to finish easily in transition, make the right play over and over again. These are just two guys that aren't going to lose you games, and they're going to have an opportunity to win you games more because they're going to have more opportunities to play make in that Austin Westlake offense.
Yeah, I'm going to finish up the top 250 here with one of my players is Aaron San Miguel from San Antonio Jefferson. Hey, he's going to put the ball in the hole. Yep. And Jefferson's going to be one of those teams that's going to go out there and march on the court and get 25 wins. They're a top 25 team in our 5A. Aaron San Miguel, he can just sit there. He's going to hit long jumpers, hit the three, get to the rim, does a little bit of everything. What's his nickname? Sticks. I mean, he is not a ton of body, but there's not any fear in his game at all. And I really like what he brings to the court, and especially for San Antonio Jefferson, who is going to win a lot of basketball games. He's going to keep that going.
All right, we're going to move into the 2023s. Kind of the same flow. Everybody's going to pick a few guys that they really, really like. We are dropping those rankings right after the 2022 rankings, so they're going to be out as well. So you're getting all this stuff, and like I said, we're going to re-rank up to the tournament season, and we'll continue to do this. 2023s, I'll kick us off. Fred Payne, I saw him for the first time. He moved in from Arkansas, and I've mentioned him again before, but the thing that stood out is elite guard play, pick and roll, and when you're dangerous from downtown and you can handle like he can, and he can pass and see the vision and see the floor like he can with his vision, it's a scary combination, especially with the talent that Legacy School of Sports Science possess. So, you got him coming off a screen, finding all these guys, bearing shots if you go under. Look out, Fred Payne. Really enjoyed watching him. Really highly skilled guard.
Blue?
Yeah, I'll take Kendrick DeLuna at number 6 for Texas Military Institute. I'm going to be lucky enough to go see him tomorrow in the Alamo City Classic in San Antonio. Hey, you're talking about length, mobility, able to get the ball into the basket around anytime he's in the paint. He had 12 blocks the other day at his opening game. He's going to rebound. This guy can move very quickly. I don't think that he's getting enough pub from people from around the state. It's not like we don't know who he is. He is going to be a great high major get.
What did we talk about, Blue, the other day? He has such a high floor. Like, his worst game is better than most people's best game.
Yeah.
And it's just consistent. And Kendrick, we love watching you, man.
I'm going to talk about Duncanville, which, who?
Yeah.
There's a list of them. But Ashton Hardaway, scary time, man. When you're 6'8", 6'9", shooting the three like he does, he's so good at this point in my mind where I don't even care to mention who his dad is because it's about the kid. A lot of times, if Penny Hardaway's son, Ashton Hardaway, is who we're talking about, but a lot of times when a kid has a famous or like an ex-athlete father or parent, we want to mention that. But this kid's on doing his own thing, and he's so talented. Probably the best shooter on Duncanville. That's no disrespect to anybody else they have. But when you look at 6'8", 6'9" frame, it's slender down. Had a little bit of a baby fat. No disrespect calling it that, but he slendered down, got into better shape, grown a couple inches over the summer. But just the way he can score from the mid post, turnaround jumpers, super skilled already. Just as that hybrid wing forward player that really spaces the floor and just gets a lot done for that offense.
Think about his adjustment and how quickly he adjusted once he was at TABC. Now he's in the starting lineup, I believe, for Duncanville. I mean, he moved right in, and I think that's kind of tough for a coach like David Peavy, that he's got players from 1 to 10, and he's able to say, hey, we're going to slide him in, he's going to produce.
Yeah, I love him a lot, man. I think that he's going to continue to move up our rankings.
Yep. I went to a game last Saturday, the Woodlands Christian versus Bishop Lynch, and a guy who stuck out to me, Wyatt Boker, has a lot of upside, very bouncy kid from the Woodlands Christian. He coming in here at 98 with room to grow. I mean, when he's active and getting rebounds, he's really good. And then I saw him step out and bury a shot, and I was like, okay. And then he's handling the ball. He's got some real skill to him. Really impressed me. I saw him this summer, and I liked what I saw from him. And then Saturday, really just like I called you instantly, and I was like, man, I saw it with Wyatt.
And I think that's something that's great about us. We go out and watch games. We watch him in person. He was not in the top 100 prior to you watching the game. We made adjustments before we released it, and that's the kind of impression that players can have on us, and we'll adjust it.
Yeah, and the school setting to the summer setting, kids thrive in both, and it's really good to see both settings.
No, absolutely.
So, yeah.
I'm going to talk about Wayne Pritz from Argyle. What I love about Wayne is the situation that he's in. Plays with 3D Empire, 16U, which is a loaded team as well. You know, Sean's done really good with that culture. But also your high school team has just as strong of culture and coaching as well.
Yes.
So at 6'8", he's an athlete, man. A lot of the games I've filmed, he's going down the lane, and some of the dunks he missed, I'm like, oh, wow, the fact that he even attempted that. You can kind of still see that he's trying to figure out what his body is, which is scary because he already knows how to dunk the ball on kids. So it's just, I think this is going to be a big year of growth for this 2023 prospect. But already at 6'8", really solid kid, and you can't ask for a better coaching environment than what he has. So look for him to really have a big season.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the theme of big man. I already talked about Kendrick DeLuna. I'm going to jump right in there with Austin St. Michael's Joshua Jones, who comes in at 41. I've liked him. Y'all know that I've expressed that. Great hands, good footwork on the low block. College coaches have gone in there to see other of his teammates have gone back, call and say, well, let's talk about Josh Jones. I'm like, yeah, that's why I've always thrown him in there when they talked about other players. He's the kind of guy that maybe people are going to sleep on a little bit. I get to watch him this weekend. He's going to play with his back to the basket. He knows what he is. He knows how he's going to be able to help his team win by being on the block and doing those things of getting just a put back, blocking out. Really like his upside and to see what's going to happen over the next 3 to 4 months with him.
Quick aside, I was walking at the ASC, RIP ASC. I was walking by at our Memorial Day tournament, and I see this dude seal a guy all the way up to the free throw line, and I was like in a hurry, and I stopped, and I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen that in a minute. And he didn't get the ball either, so I was really frustrated for him. But, I mean, he just moved a kid up the lane. I was like, oh, man, look out. So I'll move in. I'll keep the theme of big men going. Corey Upkins, Plano East, first time in the rankings. We saw him at our October 16th Mansfield GASO Fall Classic. Lean, aggressive, rim protector, runs the floor hard. Really liked what I saw. And then I went up to Coach Wester and I said, hey, this kid. And he goes, yeah, that kid. He's good. He's really good. And, just getting after it, 2023. Still has some room to grow. Still a little raw, but as you can see, as you will see this season, he possesses a lot of things that's going to make him a nice prospect for someone.
I'm going to move into a wing prospect, Joseph Mayberry III of Lancaster. What I like about him is what?
Oh no, the kid it gets a lot of excitement.
Oh,
on
you
the
like
court.
this one? Okay. With him, what I like about he did some things really well in our Tops in Texas event, but he's kind of a do-it-all, long and rangy athlete. Crashes the offensive glass hard. A lot of times when it's just kind of muddy in there and the ball's kind of going all over the place, he ends up with it. Another one of those guys that I think is finding his own identity in a program where a lot of them buy into their roles. He's going to be able to make some things happen on his own and just bring that level of energy, his skill, just kind of do it all and just get extra possessions and just make them a more consistent offense and scoring the ball, whether it's transition or, like I said, on the offensive end. But he's also so long and rangy. He's going to be able to guard multiple positions. Just a perfect fit, like I said, for that Lancaster offense.
Yeah, we always talk about if you don't play hard, if you're not aggressive, if you don't go attack both on the defensive and offensive side of the ball, you're not playing. So that tells you a lot right there for Joseph in his game.
And the last thing I'll say, this is probably the third or fourth time I've said a perfect fit in that Lancaster system, which tells me that I really like this Lancaster team. A lot of their individual guys just fit perfectly in that system, and I'm just going to continue to say that. So
Culture.
And there's just a lot of guys that I think, honestly, they're peaking at the right time, and they have a lot of individual skill that's going to work well with the team environment that Lancaster has.
Yeah. And finally, I'll wrap this part up with Darren Ford. I don't think we've really mentioned him at all, but Darren Ford, number 184, making his way into our rankings.
But that's why we do this.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we do this.
And we can go as deep
The platform, the biggest stage for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I kind of threw him in here. He is I'm wrapping it up with a late 2022 guy, and I just wanted to make sure I touched on him before we moved on. So Darren Ford, number 184 out of San Antonio Veterans Memorial. Undersized, but he gets a lot done. Very productive. I like to see what he's going to do throughout the year in a new setting at Veterans Memorial, coming over from East Central, but definitely big body, knows how to play. Will do things out on the perimeter, just a little face-up jumpers and so forth. And so he's one to really keep an eye on moving forward in that 2022 class.
Yeah, that team in general, they were really fun to watch at our San Antonio GASO Fall Classic, and I think they're going to turn some heads this year. And when they're really young, and they return a lot of dudes. So, hey, thank you for tuning in to this edition of the GASOcast. Make sure to follow us on social media at Texas Hoops GASO and at Texas Hoops TV, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and then subscribe. This guy's putting out incredible content constantly. We're going to be
back on the road, baby.
Back on the road. Back on the road this weekend. We cannot wait to get this season going. So we appreciate you being with us. We'll see you next time.